نعم تفضل يا أخي.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Number 66, the Sheikh rahimahullah said, number 66, the things that nullify this hilyah. Oh brother, may Allah save us from tripping up. If you have read the highlights from Hilyat to Talib al-Ilm and its etiquette and have fallen into some of the nullifying affairs, then understand that the greatest things that destroy the organization of its alignment, i.e., in the same manner the alignment of beads on a necklace would be corrupted, are the following. Number one, disclosing secrets. Number two,
نعم.
spreading
إن
rumors.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, if you have a chain of beads, so from the greatest of its khawarim that would destroy this system of beads, like as if you cut it off, this is what is meant. Yani the thing that would destroy this adornment, this hilyah for the student of knowledge is what? Number one, na'am.
Number one, disclosing secrets. Number two, spreading rumors from one group of a people to another. Number three, vain glory and lying.
Na'am. Number one is ifsha'u sir, to say يعني to expose the secrets. Al-Imam bin Uthaymeen says these nullifiers that the Sheikh has mentioned, in يعني truly or in reality, خدش عظيم لطالب العلم بل والعامة أيضا. يعني this is a, how to say khadj? It's not an easy word to translate. يعني it I can only translate it in a يعني in something that is close to it, meaning it distorts. It distorts, or it's because khadj is scratch. So let me look it up. Let's see. I would like to find the word for it. They said scratch, mark, scratch off, scrape. That's not gonna make sense in English. Okay, it won't make it. Okay, so I have to translate the meaning. It won't make sense like this. يعني meaning it's a great distortion. It greatly taints يعني the student of knowledge and his reputation and so on. This is what the Sheikh means. And the Sheikh says, in a matter of fact, even lay people and even laymen as well, because exposing secrets is forbidden, and it is betrayal of amana, يعني that which you have been entrusted with. If somebody tells you something and يعني the Sheikh said istaktamaka, يعني meaning he told you don't tell anybody, this is a secret, it's confidential between us. So it is not permissible that you expose it to anybody, no matter يعني to anyone. And then the Sheikh says that the ulama said, if somebody tells you something and he turns away, التفت فقد استأمنك, then this is confidential, as if he has given you يعني this in confidence, meaning confidential. Al-Imam bin Uthaymeen says this is an amana, this is, you're entrusted with it, wasir, and the secret. So it is not permissible that you expose it to anybody. Don't tell anybody about it. And if he says, I want to tell you something between you and I, then this is, he has entrusted you and this is a secret. And the same way, if he says this is a personal matter, then this is also a secret. And number two is namima, is gossip. Yani you take from this person to that person. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from this people to that people, which is called namima. And the person who does it called qattat. As the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La yadkhulu al-jannata qattat." The one who is a qattat, who does this gossip and so on, he does not enter into Jannah. And Imam bin Uthaymeen says this is a major sin, that a person comes to another and he says, this person said so and so about you. And I would like to add to this that when, especially when it is meant in order to cause hatred and enmity between people, not in other contexts when they are not destructive. And now Imam is going to say, he says, Imam bin Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala, however, if what is meant is advice, meaning that this person, for example, thinks highly of another person, and he gives him his secrets, and he takes his opinion and advice for different matters, or for matters in general. So another person comes and says, oh, so and so, I see that you tell your secrets to this person, and you trust him, and he's not trustworthy. This man exposes everything that you tell him, and this is advice. And the Sheikh says, a lot of the times a person would be, he has a good heart, and he trusts everyone, and then he looks that his secrets and his conditions are known for other people. Because why? Because he trusts people. What was number 3 again?
Sallallahu alaykum. Vain glory and lying.
Vain glory and lying?
Naam.
As-salafu wal-lasana. Al-Imam bin Uthaymeen explained it differently. Al-Imam bin Uthaymeen said, as-salafu is harshness in consideration to something with no leniency, neither in saying or in the condition or in his condition. You find him harsh. You find him salfun or salifun. طيب. And the lesson means that he has articulation. He's powerful, he's good with his articulation, and he's outspoken and so on. And so he has this ability in order to do what? To show falsehood and to hide the truth, the haqq. And then the Sheikh says, as for quwwatu sawti, when someone has a strong voice and that it is loud, this is from what Allah, the khilqa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Hujurat, ayah number 2 said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, you who believe, La tarfa'u aswatakum fawqa sawti nabi. Don't raise your voices above the voice of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَلَا تَجْهَرُوا لَهُ بِالْقَوْلِ كَجَهْرِ بَعْضِكُمْ لِبَعْضٍ. And don't say it out, talk out loud to him as you talk out loud to one another. أَن تَحْبَطَ أَعْمَالُكُمْ, so that your good deeds would be gone. وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَشْعُرُونَ, while you don't feel it. ثابت ibn Qais radiyallahu anhu. Thabit ibn Qais radiyallahu anhu. He's one of the poets of the one of the poets, and he's one of the khutaba, the speakers as well. وكان جهوري الصوت فلزم بيته يبكي, and his voice was loud. This is his khilqa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him this in his creation. I am adding. The Sheikh says, so he stayed at home crying, weeping, and did not go out to the people. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam missed him. ففقده. Look at the akhlaq of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. فأرسل إليه رسولا. So he sent somebody to him, a messenger to him, someone to. So he replied, he said, surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed this ayah, and I am afraid that my amal, my actions would go away without me noticing, without me feeling it. Imam bin Uthaymeen says, look at the fear of Allah Azza wa Jal from this Sahabi. So the Prophet ﷺ sent to him, فَقَالَ لَهُ, the Messenger ﷺ sent to him, saying, إِنَّهُ يَحْيَى سَعِيدًا, he will live happily. وَيُقْتَلُ شَهِيدًا, and he will die as a martyr in Islam. وَيَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةِ, and will enter Jannah. Allahu Akbar. This is in Sahih al-Bukhari. The man, Qais ibn Thabit ibn Qais, the man lived happily, the Sheikh says. And he died as a shaheed. Look at the miracle, huh? And he died as an Islamic martyr in the Battle of Al-Yamamah. I add to what the Sheikh said, meaning at the time of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the fights of the Ridda of apostasy. وَسَيَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ لِقَوْلِ النَّبِي صلى الله عليه وسلم وَيَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةِ, and he will enter into Jannah as a Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم said, وَيَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةِ, and he will enter Jannah. Therefore, Thabit ibn Qais radiyallahu anh is from those that we testify and bear witness that he will enter Jannah. So the Sheikh says after this story, he says, Al-Lasana doesn't mean that your voice is loud, but it means that there is, you tatawulu bil-lisan, you transgress with your tongue against Bani al-Insan, yani people. Naam, number 4.
Sallallahu alaykum. Number 4, excessive joking.
Naam, kathratul mizah. He did not say joking, he's because joking in يعني while you يعني when you do في الكلام, the Sheikh said, يعني joking happens with speech, right? Because the Sheikh says, because joking when it comes to speech is like salt in food. If you add too much of it, it ruins the food. And if you don't add any of it, the food won't be desired. So with excessive joking, respect goes away. And the status of the student of knowledge is degraded. And the way in which the Sheikh said it in Arabic is so nice. He says, لأن المزاح في الكلام كالملح في الطعام إن أكثرت منه فسد الطعام وإن لم تجعل فيه الملح لم يشتهى الطعام. And I have translated it. طيب, as for little joking, mizah, by which what is intended by it is to bring happiness to your companion, then this is goodness and it is from the Sunnah. Because the Prophet ﷺ used to joke, and he only says the truth. Alayhi salatu wassalam. A man came to him once and he wanted a camel, yani to ride a camel in order to do jihad in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal. So the Prophet ﷺ said, Inna hamiluka ala waladin naqa. The Sheikh said, we will make you ride the son of the she camel. So the man said, yani how would I ride the son of the she camel, of the offspring? Yani meaning the little one. So the Prophet ﷺ told him, as is narrated in Musnad Imam Ahmad, وَهَلْ تَلِدُ الْإِبِلُ إِلَّا النُّقْ. And يعني do she camels give birth to anything other than camels? فسري عن الرجل. يعني so, and the man يعني felt happiness. So this is joking. However, it is the truth. And the Prophet ﷺ used to joke and only said the truth. And despite that, his joking was a little. And the Prophet ﷺ was joking with him, and he's saying, we're not going to give you the naqa, we're giving you the son of the naqa. Huh? The she camel, the son of the she camel. So what is that? Oh, the camels, what do they bear? Camels. And we'll give you the camel. It's a joke. طيب. Just so you understand what the joke is. And another one that I can tell you, ya ikhwa, is when يعني to add to the Sheikh, when the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw Abu Hurairah, when he saw Abdurrahman ibn Sakhr, and he had the little kitten, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam called him Abu Hurairah, the father of the kitten. So this is from the nice, unharming joking of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. طيب. So, and if we were to talk about joking nowadays, Allah al-Musta'an, joking nowadays has taken a quite the opposite of that, has become very harmful. And I would like to comment on something very quickly before we move on. There is something that is extremely wrong that is being said, and it must be addressed. That when it comes to comedy, there are no limits. It's just joking, it's comedy. No, there are limits. Because some people have honor. If someone has no honor, and he says, yeah, you can joke about everything. You can joke about my wife, my mother, my whatever it is, my religion. Look, that does not mean that everyone else should be without pride, without honor, without chastity, without status, without jealousy, without chivalry. There are people that have these traits. They don't accept these things. They say, look, you want to joke? Don't harm anybody else. Don't speak about me. Don't speak about my family. Don't speak about my parents. Don't speak about my religion, the most precious thing to me. Don't speak about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my God that I worship. In order for him to understand, you tell him the word God so that he understands, or my prophet, and poking fun and so on is foolishness. You want to do that? That's your business, but don't transgress against me. There are always limits, and I always give an example. Whenever the limits are that have nothing to do with money, for example, yeah, of course we can. There are no limits, right? Your honor is not a limit. Your pride is not a limit. Your religion, the most sacred things to you, are not a limit. Your whatever is destructive for society, there is no limit. You can have freedom in it. But when it comes to a company, for example, now there are limits, there are rules. You have to abide by it or you're thrown out. Wallahi, I never understood this, ya ikhwan. If someone can explain this to me, but I think they will never be able to explain it. Because it's such a devilish, foolish thing, and such a mistake that can never even be justified in any way, shape, or form, even a tiny, teeny bit. So no one is ever going to be able to explain it. Just like you value money or a company or whatever it is, some people, people of integrity, they value other things more than that. Like their pride, their honor, their chivalry, their families, their children, they protect. They don't want you to transgress against them. This is the limit. I put a limit. Look, I'm not harming you in any way, so this harms me, so don't do that. But some people, they have the face and the audacity to say, no, I want to joke about that, and you shouldn't feel bad about it, and you shouldn't speak about it, and I want to humiliate you. I want to say bad things about you and the most sacred things to you and your family, and you shouldn't speak a word. I want you to laugh and I want you to accept it. No. What type of control, what type of whatever you call it, dictatorship, what is this? If it was in your food, you wouldn't accept it. You wouldn't say, no, don't decide it for me. If it was what you're gonna drink, it's not. What you're wearing, it's not gonna affect. You're going to explode if it was about money or how you dress or what. طيب. The truth of the matter is, it's a war against morality. It's a war against chastity. It's a war against chivalry and jealousy and pride and honor and good mannerisms. And all of these amazing, praiseworthy traits that are the best remedy, the best manners to have in order to construct a society that thrives and that is a healthy society instead of degeneracy. Because this is degeneracy, this is filth. So we must pay attention to this. And we must understand that we don't transgress against others and the limits and what is sacred to others and their families and their honor and their pride. La. There is something called advice. There's something called to approach with wisdom, to approach with that which is good, to approach not to go and humiliate people on the most things that they love, and then to tell them, oh, don't get offended. You should accept it and should. La, who are you to tell me that? Therefore, barakallahu fikum, this idea needs to change. And respect, mutual respect, should be the case. We should respect one another. We should respect what others value. And not make fun of it and not ridicule it and then as if we did nothing wrong. No, you did. And if someone gets hurt by that, then apologize to him and try to mend things. Now.
Sallallahu alaykum. Number 5, interrupting two people during a conversation.
Na'am. Allahu Akbar. Look at the high values. Look at the values of Islam. Interrupt, not transgressing and harming people and hurting them with the most sacred things they have. La, two people are talking, don't interrupt them. Islam, ya ikhwa. Allahu Akbar. The Sheikh says, Imam bin Uthaymeen, therefore from the etiquettes for the one who attends the Friday prayer is that he does not separate two people, as the sunnah, as is narrated in the sunnah, because separating two people in a place or while they are talking is from khawarim al-muru'ah, is from that which slanders your muru'ah. What did we translate muru'ah to?
To the interrupting two people during a conversation.
But what is muru'ah? I remember we translated this before. Something similar to honor, respect. Is a slander against your respect, how you are respected by others. What do you mean unclear about having pride and maintaining honor?
Sallallahu alaykum. Does it a conflict with having humility and so on amongst the people?
Na'am, but it's from, when someone has pride in his religion, he has honor, he does not let his family be humiliated, let someone transgress against his religion and his most valued things. This has nothing to do with humility. You can have humility to your fellow Muslims and so on, but still you can preserve your pride and your honor. You don't let people surpass these limits and humiliate your family, for example, or the most sacred things to you. You understand? Barakallahu fiqh.
Jazakallah khairan.
وجزاكم. نعم, something like decorum. Barakallahu fikum. Allahumma barak. نعم. So this goes against, it's a slander against your decorum, your respect in society and how others perceive you. And the Sheikh says, and from it as well, is if you see two people that are speaking, is that you don't approach them. However, from the matters and from the decorum, from the dignity, ahsantum, you got some really good words, al-muru'ah, from honor, respect, dignity, and decorum, is that you move away and you keep a distance. Because maybe they're talking about something which is a secret and they are shy to tell you, go away. Allahu Akbar. Look at the etiquettes of people, look at the etiquettes of the people of Islam. Na'am.
Sallallahu alaykum. Number 6, spite.
Meaning hatred.
Number 7.
And so on. Na'am.
Sallallahu alaykum. Number 7, jealousy. Number 8, evil suspicion.
Na'am, jealousy. He doesn't want the goodness that you have. He wants the things that are good that are happening to you not to happen to you, to be taken away from you. And Sheikh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala said in Amrad al-Qalb wa Shifa'uha, and also al-Istiqama, and also Majmu' al-Fatawa, he said, Al-Hasadu karahatu ni'matillahi ala ghayrihi. Hasad, jealousy or envy, is that he hates the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he has bestowed upon others. And Imam bin Uthaymeen explained this saying that he does not wish that they go away. However, he hates the blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal upon this person, that He has given him this blessing. So this is what is meant. Na'am.
Sanallahu ilaykum. Number 8, evil suspicion.
Na'am. And the people of Nifaq, when someone, the Imam bin Uthaymeen says, when someone from the believers wanted to give sadaqah, charity, if it is a lot, the believers, they come and give a lot of charity, they say, mura'in. They say, this person, he's showing off. And if it is a little, they say, inna Allah ghaniyun an sadaqati hada. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ghani. Yani, there is no need for this sadaqah of yours. So little it is. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah At-Tawbah, ayah 79. Let me go straight to the translation of Sheikh Taqiyuddin Al-Hilali. Surah At-Tawbah, ayah 79. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, الَّذِينَ يَلْمِزُونَ الْمُطَّوِّعِينَ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Those who defame such of the believers who give charity. في الصدقات والذين لا يجدون إلا جهدهم فيسخرون منهم. And those who could not give to charity except what is available to them. سخر الله منهم ولهم عذاب أليم. So they mock at them. Allah will throw back their mockery on them, and they shall have a painful torment. The Sheikh says, so stay away from having bad thoughts about someone whose adala, trustworthiness, is apparent on him. And there is no difference when it comes to thinking badly about the one who's teaching you or your colleague. For what is mandatory is that you have ihsanul dhann, to have good thoughts of the one who is apparently trustworthy. Sheikh, will you do an explanation of Al-Aqidah Wasatiyya? We already did, barakallahu fik, in the foundational dawra. Oh, this reminds me, Mashayikh, I see, Allahumma barak, all of our admins here on Zoom. Brothers, we said from the foundational dawra, you have it in one playlist, and also make a playlist for each book, so that the books are there as well, and you can just write in parentheses from the foundational dawra, or from the foundational, whatever it is, foundational, something like that. You put in parentheses so that it is understood, but you put the book. Barakallahu fikum. So we have a playlist for the 12 books that we went through. Naam, having good assumptions. Barakallahu fik. Today my translating powers are very low. Naam. To have good assumptions, meaning husn al-dhann, to do husn al-dhann is to have good assumptions by the one who is, apparently he's trustworthy. As for the one, ظاهره غير العدالة, that he is, apparently he's not trustworthy, then there is no harm that you can have bad assumptions in your nafs, in your heart regarding him. However, with that, you must make tahaqquq, you must make sure, so that this assumption in your heart would go away. Because a person might have bad assumptions of a certain somebody based on something that is based on a delusion, or something that is a lie and it is not real. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ijtanibu kathiran min adh-dhann, as in Surah Al-Hujurat, ayah 12, O you who believe, stay away from a lot of assumptions. And he did not say all of assumptions. Hi, Sheikh Hamdan, look at this diamond now. This is a huge benefit that the Sheikh is throwing our way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, kathiran, a lot or much of assumptions. And he did not say all assumptions. Because some assumptions, they have an excuse, they have a reason for it. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna ba'da dhanni ithm, that some assumptions are ithm. Not all of it, some of it is what? A sin. Na'am.
Sanallahu ilaykum. Number 9, sitting with the mubtadi'ah.
أيوة.
Number 10.
Yalla, we reached the part where now where we are called so many names for, that we warn against, not sitting with the people of bid'ah. And the Imam bin Uthaymeen took it even more. He took it even more. Imam bin Uthaymeen said what? He said, later, I wish the musannif, the author, would have made ta'meem, made it more general. So, saying, مجالسة كل من تخرم مجالستهم المروءة. To sit with anyone who's sitting with him would take a stab against or would slander your dignity, muru'ah, again, dignity, decorum, respect, and so on. Whether he is a mubtadi', whether he has bad manners, or he is lowly, or the likes of that. Allahu Akbar. If we were to say this, I think they have to make a new nickname for us. It's no longer valid for Rand Khali, I don't know, whatever it is that they call bootlickers or this and that. They have to make up something new. If we come and say this, we say, no, don't just sit with a mubtadi'. Don't sit with someone who has bad manners. Don't sit with someone who's lowly. Don't sit with anyone who would ruin or distort your public, your image, your dignity, your respect in front of people. Ya subhanallah. They would say you are extreme. Wallahi, Imam bin Uthaymeen said this. And Imam bin Uthaymeen continues and he said, a student of knowledge should أن يكون مترفعا, hold himself to be above, عن مجالسة من تخرم مجالستهم المروءة أو تخدش الدين, from sitting with someone that sitting with them would be from خوارم المروءة, that which is a stab against your muru'ah, and we explained this, or that it is a stab against your deen. It touches upon your deen in a negative way. For it is not permissible that we sit with a mubtadi', and that is for the coming reasons. Number one, because we are afraid from his evil. Number two, there is encouragement for this mubtadi' that people, to increase the people around him. Number three, that you attending, people will think negatively of you. They will have bad assumptions of you. For if people see you going to a person of bid'ah, then they will accuse you. Therefore, a student of knowledge should be, in a matter of fact, it is obligatory upon him, Imam bin Uthaymeen says, to stay away, to move away, to stay away from sitting to the people of bid'ah, or sitting with the people of bid'ah. Allahu Akbar, ya ikhwan. Wallahi, this is not a Madkhali or Jami or whatever, Rand Khali. This is Imam bin Uthaymeen saying this. This is Imam bin Uthaymeen saying this. And he repeatedly through this book said this. That whenever it taints your image, whenever it makes others, whatever it increases the numbers around some people, whenever it makes people think highly of this person even though he has deviated, this is what the Sheikh said. If it is harmful for you, if it would make people have bad assumptions for you, then no. And we have repeatedly gone through this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate the status of Imam Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala in this dunya and the hereafter. Rahimahullah rahmatan wasi'a. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on him. That sometimes we get things that are taken out of context as if the Sheikh is saying it's no problem, it's okay. Despite the fact that we see him over and over again in the explanation of one book telling us, la, be wise. If it's going to taint your reputation, don't do it. Subhanallah. Na'am. Rahimahullah rahmatan wasi'ah. Na'am.
Ameen. Sallallahu alaykum. Number 10, walking into the direction of unlawful affairs.
Na'am. And the Imam bin Uthaymeen here at the end of the book, he said something which negated what he said before. And what he said here is the correct saying. Before, he kind of, when we were going through it, we read it, I passed through, I read it and passed swiftly from it, because the Sheikh is going to say this. He said, if there is nobody else and so on, if you remember, if there is no one else that teaches it except this person that has some bid'ah and so on, then there is no harm in sitting, but we have replacements, we have alternatives, afwan, which is from recordings. But Imam bin Uthaymeen here, he said quite the opposite of that. The Sheikh said, be careful of sitting to a person who's upon bid'ah. احذر أن تجلس إلى صاحب بدعة ولو في الفنون التي لا علاقة لها ببدعته لأنه لا بد أن يدس السم في العسل. And this is the same thing that our mashayikh and ulama have said, the same thing that Al-Allama Sulaiman Ruhaili has said in his known video that we talked about before. Al-Imam said, be careful to sit to a person of bid'ah, even in the fields that have nothing to do with his bid'ah, the fields of studies that have nothing to do with his innovation, because it is a must that he will put poison in the honey that he gives. Yani the ilm that he's giving you and the benefits that he's giving you and the correct information that he's giving you, he must, inevitably, he will put some poison in it. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Naam. Number 10.
Sallallahu alaykum. Number 10. Walking into the direction of unlawful affairs.
Naam. Some of the ulama, they said, even Al-Imam bin Uthaymeen says, even to stay away from walking to places where people are going to criticizing. For example, if a student of knowledge goes to shops or shopping places that are for women only. And this was at the time of the Sheikh rahimahullah ta'ala. Na'am.
Sallallahu alaykum. Sheikh Bakr Abu Zaid rahimahullah said, beware of these sins and sins that are related to them, and restrain yourself from all that is unlawful. If you do not, then know that your piety is weak and that you are frivolous, a joker, a backbiter, and a carrier of rumors. A backbiter,
gossiper,
and a carrier of rumors.
Gossiper, meaning.
Sallallahu alaykum. And it is impossible for you to become a seeker of knowledge who is pointed at with fingers, blessed with knowledge and its implementation. May Allah make your steps firm and grant everyone piety and success in the second and the first, i.e. life. And may the salah and salam of Allah be upon our Prophet Muhammad and his family and his companions.
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah. الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. We have finished yet another explanation for Imam bin Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala, and I heavily recommend that we revise and revise and revise, because we went through a sea of benefits, and it was such a beneficial book, and as you know, I have started teaching this book as some of our mashayikh, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them, they have asked specifically, they said, teach Hilyat Talib Al-Ilm, and we have summarized many of the benefits of Al-Imam ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala on this beneficial, enjoyable book, Al-Nafi' Al-Mati'. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala al-ikhlas wal-barakah, and inshaAllah azza wa jal, we will announce our new schedule after we have finished this book, because this was the goal. And we will start inshaAllah azza wa jal our weekly schedule bi'idhnillahi tabaraka wa ta'ala. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.